Okay, I'll admit it. One of the reasons I wanted to watch this was because it's 1991, it's May time, it's the WWF, or as this program calls it, because they can't let us do that because, of course, the World Wildlife Foundation, not Federation, Foundation won a court case, didn't they? So it's they can't say World Wrestling Federation, but they can't say. So I watched this because my feeling was that in 1991, I was watching at that time, I thought that WrestleMania, because they had the angle where Sergeant Slaughter turned from being an American GI to an Iraqi sympathiser, this is at the time of the first Iraq War, you see, and had General Adnan and Colonel Mustafa with him, and won the title at the Royal Rumble, only, of course, to have it taken back. The plan was to have it taken back by, I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. Hulk Hogan, then that would be great and everyone would want to see it. However, WrestleMania VII, as it would be, moved from a larger to a smaller venue. Now, the general feeling was that it was because of security concerns. So they moved to a smaller venue because they were worried about the security concerns that might have come from that angle, storyline. Other people said, not a lot of tickets have been sold, folks. I don't know, but I thought that there might be some kind of overhang of that in this Superstars of Wrestling from May 91, but there isn't, is there? Because they're still barreling along. I'd forgotten that you've got SummerSlam coming up with that great Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect fight. It's one of my favourite SummerSlams of all time. It's not as good as 88, of course, but it's up there, isn't it? Anyway, we've got, first of all, by the way, before we start, there will be some stuff here, or certainly one very well hyped project, venture from Vince that isn't entirely successful down the line. We've got got Macho with Roddy Piper, and Macho is a heel and Roddy is a good guy who's just trained Virgil. He'll be on the programme, folks. He's left from broken away from Ted DiBiase. That was popular. I mean, he was there for decades after that. In fact, he went to WCW to be part of one of the NWOs, didn't he? Was it Wolfpack or was it NWO Black and White? I can't remember which. I think it was Black and White. Anyway, Macho and Piper together don't really work. With Vince in the middle, of course, doesn't really work. You've got them ending the show with them shouting, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yeah, all right, lads, leave it. Yes, no. Titles are running. Yes, no, yes, no. Terrible. Let me take you through what happens here. The Nasty Boys are out first. I'm looking at my notes, of course. And they have won the titles, the tag team titles, of course, at WrestleMania with the help of an errant helmet. A helmet shot from, it's not a German, it's not a helmet shot. No, a helmet shot from Jimmy Hart, of course, the man from the South, who's their manager. And they will be facing tonight the Rockers. Now, according to Roddy Piper, the Rockers and the Nasty Boys are two of the best tag teams ever to be in this promotion. Which, of course, is I'm not sure about that. I think we could draw up a chair, pull up a chair, make us have a cup of tea or coffee, and let's have a talk about some of the great tag teams that I'm not quite sure they're in the top 10, are they, the Nasty Boys? Are the Rockers in the top? Well, I don't know. I really don't think that's the case. Anyway, early on, the ref, who's Dave Hebner, not Evil Earl, his brother, Dave Hebner, is out of position to count a face plant from the Rockers. In fact, it's a stereo face plant, actually. Sags gets caught off the top with a Michaels shoulder block. There is LOD, picture in picture, because they're looking for the tag team championships. What a rush! Yeah, all of that. Knobs gets a clothesline, several in fact, and Sags gets the twigs and berries shot to the to the ring post, which isn't ideal for him. And then we've got knobs being pulled. No, not like that. Is pulled off the top by Marty Jannetty. And then we've got a helmet shot avoided by Jannetty. And the Rockers win by a DQ. So they don't get the belts. And they never got the belts, did they? Well, they did. They got the belts once in 1990, I think. It was on a house show. And I remember the WWF, said that they couldn't have that because they had to reverse the decision. Why? Because the top rope was slack. They really didn't want to give them those belts, did they, in my view? It seems to me. Now, we've got an update from the magazine with Mean Gene. Earthquake and Jake. We see Earthquake and Jake. It's when Earthquake dropped his big booty on Damien, the snake, the bag and something in the bag, and did it twice, and Jake wasn't very happy about that, and obviously, and Gene's doing the, can you imagine how he feels? Can you imagine? It's doing all that. We don't see it, it's cut away twice. We don't see it, it's too brutal to watch. Yeah. Now, we've got Ali Burke. Is it called Ali Burke? Versus Kerry Von Erich. He's not called Kerry Von Erich, he's called the Texas Tornado. He will win the Intercontinental title, won't he, briefly? And he'll be in that first six-man tag team match for SummerSlam coming up, which is great, actually, with Dragon and the British Bulldog, I think. He'll be on here later as well, just chatting. Now, he sweeps the leg early on, gets a waist lock, and Ali Burke gets to the ropes. Warlord and Warlord and Slick are picture in picture because they're going for the Texas Tornado. Warlord will have a storied, long career in the WWF as Warlord. He won't, will he? No, he won't. And then there's a discus punch from Kerry, or Texas Tornado, and he really clonked him with it, actually, and it's all over. That's it. Event centre is Sean Mooney. Sean Mooney's still there. DiBiase has lost Sherry. No, he's got Sherry, sorry. He's lost Virgil. Virgil's gone. He's got Sherry. And, I replaced something poor with something great. Sherry was great. Sherry was a great, great manager. Really lovely to see that they're together. And they do some great work together, actually, as well. Very nice. Now, they aren't happy with Virgil, of course. But the British Bulldog's happy. He's there with Winston, his Bulldog. And not Matilda, Winston. And he wants the model, he wants the Barbarian, and then he wants Mr. Perfect. He's got it planned out, hasn't he? Because he wants the Intercontinental belt. He will win it, won't he, in 92 at Wembley Stadium against Bret Hart in a bloody good match, as a matter of fact. Yes. Now, here's Colonel Mustafa with General Adnan and against W.T. Jones. Turn Hunt is not there. You maggots, you human slime. Slaughter's not there. But anyway, got the curly boots. They mentioned that the Iron Sheik was the WWF champion at one point. It is the Iron Sheik, of course. Roddy Piper acts as if he doesn't know who the Iron Sheik is or was. You were there at the time, Roddy. Come on. That doesn't work, mate. It simply doesn't work. Anyway, we've got a throat thrust from Mustafa. A gut wrench suplex. Really nicely done. Duggan wants Mustafa, picture in picture, because he's in the way of Slaughter, you see, wants to get to him. So there's a camel clutch in the ring. That's the pin. Done. Now, Bodybuilding Lifestyles magazine. Yeah, that's the thing that Vince was doing, wasn't it? He was trying to get into the bodybuilding world. I mean, and like the XFL, it went from strength to strength to strength to strength to strength. Yeah. So anyway, Eddie Robinson's there doing a promo while he bicep curls. Very nice. Then he drops the barbell. You're not supposed to do that at the gym. It's bad form. Anyway, don't you know about gym etiquette? Now we've got a quiet Ultimate Warrior promo. I've never seen one of these in my life. Really well done, actually. And it's because he's been put in a casket by The Undertaker and consequently doesn't know who to relate to, doesn't know what to think about this. He's gone back to the beginning and he's gone to a dark place. And that is why he'll be very quiet. But it really works rather than... Yeah, all of that he usually does. Okay, now we've got prime time and we've got Vince and Bobby Heenan looking on wearing very bad jumpers, while in the barber shop, Brutus, who's come back to the... gives a gentleman a very bad haircut. It looks like he's asked for a haircut like Hawk. So he's got a barbershop quartet with him, and they mention they're trying to jolly us along, Heenan and Vince, and they talk about heavy metal barbershop, and so they had to mention Metallica and AC/DC. I think that's all they can think of. That's about it. Right. Next we've got Virgil versus Tom Stone. Virgil's got no music to speak of when he comes in. Basically punches, big right hand sends Mr. Stone over the top. Then you've got a big punch again from Virgil. He's got the $1 Million Dream on because, of course, Ted DiBiase's move, you see. And that's it. Very poor. It's the Berserker. Halt. I'm holding my hand, you see. I can't because my other hand's somewhere else, but I'm holding my hand. And he's with Mr. Fuji. I've forgotten that. He'll be fighting Dan Robbins. Dan, I think, should be pretty sure that he doesn't want to fight him. Big boots to the face. In fact, he ties him up in the ropes at one point. Really clonks him with 2 boots. As he doesn't take them off and smack him. What I mean is he kicks him in the face, you know. As Vince says, there's no technique there at all. No, there isn't. There really isn't. And Tugboaty's picture-in-picture. No technique there at all either, really. He wants to face the Berserker for some reason. I mean, neither of them were long in the promotion, were they? Of course, Tugboat will go on to become Typhoon, won't he? Of the Natural Disasters. Yeah, because Hogan never called him while he was off injured. Yeah, that's the storyline they'll do down the line. A storyline down the line. And we got the World's Strongest Slam from the Berserker. Throws him over the top to the outside. There's a count out, but not happy with that. The Berserker jumps over the top and lands on him at ringside. That must have been bloody painful. Good crikey. Now, ooh, welcome to my funeral parlour. Yeah, it's Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer, look, that just in case in Memphis Wrestling, I love that. And he's got Hulk Hogan with him. The reason why Hulk Hogan's arrived, no Undertaker this week. I don't know where he is. Not quite sure. He's not lurking around. So he is able to... He calls him Dr. Paul Bearer. Is he supposed to be a doctor? I don't think he was ever called Dr. Paul Bearer. I think he's got the... I think he's read the memo wrong, to be honest. Hulk, really, I think you've read it wrongly, mate. But anyway, he puts him in a casket, Paul Bearer in a casket, and then Paul Bearer pops his head out the side. Ooh. Really well done, actually. Really funny. Now, IRS plays this very well. I never really thought that Mike Rotundo had very much charisma, but he does really well. You know, he's the taxman, IRS. Taxman. And he's got people's tax returns and he's stamping them with audit because, of course, that's a problem if you have that. So he does a joke about someone who gave money to a home for people, for cripples. He used that word. You know, so, and he says it's a good cause, but I don't see that you've got any receipts, so you haven't got a leg to stand on. Those jokes wouldn't pass muster now. Oh, no. They should have been bleeped out rather than the... Yeah. So anyway, he plays the character very well, though, actually. You can pay me now and pay me later. That's quite nice, actually. Does play it well. Bret Hart's then facing Warren Yansky. Not for long, though. Not for long at all. Barbarian wants him, pick. And you've got a sharpshooter very early on for the pin. That'll be it. And we finish, actually, with 2 promos. The Orient Express. Remember them? Remember the music? Ding, 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 ding. Awful. And it's Kato and Tanaka. And Tanaka has got a little bit that he wants to talk about. And he says the words WWF in that. And so consequently you get, yeah, we're getting through the... Because we're the best ones in the... So he doesn't really get much of a promo. And then finally we get the big boss man, who will be facing I'm the Mountie, won't he? He's looking for the Mountie, and he will face him, I think, at SummerSlam. Is it the jail match? Oh, I'm looking forward to that. And this was rather entertaining, this. The wrestling was crap, but at this time, they're really keeping going. Crowd are loving it, and actually, so did I. Ta-ta.